Hey, what's going on? My name is Pixel Gadget, and I've been a game designer for a long time, and I love FPS games. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about something kind of near and dear to my heart. And the question is very simple: it's should you go to school to learn game design? The reason why I pose this question is because I went to school for game design. Specifically, I have a bachelor's degree in art and game design. Or was it art in game design? I can't remember. But I spent 4 years at a college. But now I'm starting to wonder, and I've been talking to a lot of my old classmates, and we all kind of agree that our time was basically wasted there. um, so I'll start off with kind of what it was like going to school for game design. When I was 18 years old, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, but I knew I wanted to be a game designer in some capacity. I knew I wanted to make games. I remember I was 16 years old, and there was a game design class started at my high school, and I just fell in love with making games. My first game was a kind of Mega Man clone called Quantum Odyssey, and it was just this weird little game and one level, and I loved it. I loved making games. So I fell in love with making games when I was 16 years old. And I remember barging into this one teacher's room and saying, I know what I'm going to do with my life. I'm going to be a game designer. I'm going to make games. At the time, I had no idea what that meant. So 18 rolls around. I graduate from high school and it's time to go to college. And I decide to go to this school for game design because I'm like, well, making games, sure. And I went to the best school for it. Well, basically, what ended up happening was it was an extremely difficult program. It was 4 years, and I ended up taking half the classes I took weren't even about game design at all. And then another half of those classes that were about game design were about 2D games and board games. Obviously, I make 3D games and first person shooters. It was an extremely challenging school, extremely difficult. They just worked us to the bone. Specifically, they didn't teach me about the kinds of games I wanted to make. The school was oriented towards you working in the industry, and that's kind of the point I'm going to make. The big like thesis, if you will, for this is if you want to work in the industry and make a lot of money, then yes, go to school for game design. That's a great idea. You guys hear that cat? Hey, buddy. That's a cat that just shows up every once in a while. Anyways, as I was saying, but if you're like me and you're a free soul, a free spirit, and you just want to make your own games, make them your way, make the kinds of games you want to make, school is not the best path at all. It's not even close. The amount of money and time I wasted at that school is incredible. Basically, nowadays, in the age of the internet and AI, you can teach yourself just about anything if that's all it is to you, is just learning the craft. You can teach yourself. Absolutely. You do not need these teachers and these people. Um, I think they were knowledgeable about game design maybe like from the 90s and the early 2000s, but times have changed. And nowadays, you can teach yourself pretty much anything on the internet with YouTube. And that's kind of what I'm aiming to do with this channel is spread the game design knowledge that they were gatekeeping at this school and that I have locked away in my mind, and I've been using it for my own benefit for a long time. And it's like I should share this with people because I paid a lot of money, or my family did a lot of money, to go to this school where now all the information and is widely available. Okay, so that's the thing. If you want to work in the industry and make a lot of money, whatever, go right ahead, go to school for it. It'll probably make things easier. But if you're like me and you're a free spirit and you want to just make games your way, do things your way, have freedom, be more of an artist, really, because this is kind of an artistic thing. You make thousands of choices about the art direction of a game if you're making it every single day, even if you're just the designer and maybe there's an artist on your team. So that's really why this is so amazing. It's the freedom. It's the freedom to do what you want when you want, have your own schedule. Now, Of course, you're not going to make a lot of money this way. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Some of the games we covered, Dread Templar, made a good amount of money, but think about it. The game made maybe $400,000 on a 3-person team, 4-person team that split 4 ways. You're not walking away with a lot. So it's risky, but the reward is huge. And just a fair warning for anyone who, I kind of have a story to share. Anyone who's like, this video is targeted towards 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds, people who are like young people they love playing games. They're like me. This video is targeted towards people like younger me, who just was naive and didn't know about how things really work. So to be clear, in the game industry, it's brutal. They will work you to death. I mean, the school I went to was so hard because they wanted to mimic the industry. You're just treated like basically a workhorse in these companies. They just work you and you'll burn out. They just have like a huge turnover. They'll bring a game designer on, work him to death for 4 or 5 years, and then fire them and get a new one. And that's how they do it for a lot of the designers and stuff. That's just the reality of the game industry. A lot of my friends who are in the industry tell me these things because I've actually never worked in the industry myself. Right out of college, I just started doing indie dev. I've been trying to do indie dev for the past 6 years, basically, and kind of moderate success. But that's my point, is these companies don't care about you. And my point is, there was this guy who was at college with me, and he would dress up as Super Mario, and he kind of looked like Super Mario. I had the Super Mario mustache and all that. And his dream was to work at Nintendo and make Mario games. That was his big dream, and that's why he went to that school. And I had to watch over the years as the light just left his eyes. Freshman year, he was just excited, wanted to make Mario games. And then as the years went on and he kept applying to Nintendo for internships and game designer roles and kept getting rejected over and over, the harsh reality of his dream, it just crushed him. It crushed him that Nintendo just didn't want him. They just didn't care about his passion, nothing. They were just a mechanical machine. And it broke my heart. He was a good friend of mine. We had our disagreements, but I admired him for just his passion for games and stuff. That's just one example of how basically young, bright-eyed people come into the game industry thinking making games is going to be fun and exciting and awesome. No, it's when you're in the industry like that, it's grueling. There's this thing called crunch time, where most people don't know this about the game industry, but in the last 3 months of making a lot of these big games, all the big games, Last of Us Part 2 had a huge crunch. It's called crunch time. It's when they have the designers and the programmers and the artists working 80 hours a week, long hours, just trying to get the game done on time. And it's grueling. These people, their bodies are getting destroyed. And that was the big sign that I should not work in the industry. I basically, going to that school and working as hard as I did to get that degree, my health declined drastically just from chronic stress and anxiety. And that's my big point, is if you have this dream of making games and working in the industry, just know that they don't care about your health. They don't care about your anxiety, your stress, your comfort. They just want you to perform. And that's kind of why indie dev is so amazing, is yes, you will make less money. Yes, there's no guarantees. There's no guaranteed paycheck. But you can take care of yourself better. So let me give you a little outline of what I would do if I was 18 years old right now and I wanted to be an indie game dev for my career. Okay. Step one is I would go to my parents and say, so you guys are willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars for me to go to a normal college, right? Okay. Well, what if I took that money that you would have spent for me to go to college and just invested it into an indie game dev business? Living expenses, learning, assets, just everything that I would need to build an indie game dev business, a brand. And be honest with them, it's going to take 4, 5, 6 years to really develop that brand, develop those games, my skills. But it's a heck of a lot better than 4 years of just college where I'm learning all this garbage and getting a worthless piece of paper and spending maybe 3 times as much. I feel like if I had said that to my parents when I was 18, 9 years ago, I would have probably been able to do it. Of course, in hindsight, I'm happy with my life path. Everything has worked out beautifully. I just remember a lot of the hardship going through that college, really believing that once I got that degree, everything would fall into place, and it just didn't. I still had to figure things out for myself. The people at that school were never going to teach me what I needed to know. I had to teach myself. They just wanted my money. They just wanted to drag it along. If they were honest, it would have been a 1-year program. But they dragged it on with English classes and math classes and painting classes. They had me take like 3 painting classes, 4 English classes. Like, I'm a game designer. What are you talking about? And they just had all these ridiculous justifications. So they just wanted to siphon more money from me and keep me there for 4 years. And for some reason, I went along with it. I wanted to quit in sophomore year, but I just kind of trauma bonded so closely with my fellow game designers at that school. I wanted to stick with them. I wanted to support them and be with them. And here's one of the benefits of going to that school. I got to work on teams with other game designers and programmers and artists and make games as a team with my fellow classmates. That was extremely useful. However, it was only useful to the degree that I realized I like working alone. I like making games on my own. Yes, it's more work, but I like to control the art direction, the writing, the style, all myself. That's not to say that I can't work with other people. I just would really prefer not to. Okay, so I would tell my parents, hey, I'm going to do this. And then what would I do next? Well, I would start doing research. I would say, what kind of game do I want to make? And I would do market research and say, okay, so I want to make boomer shooters. I would look at the market. Okay, boomer shooters make money. People buy them, people play them. Okay, great. That's a good genre to get into. Honestly, guys, I think we're in the boomer shooter renaissance right now. Video games are such a complex thing where there's so many different styles, and a first-person shooter can mean a variety of different styles and things and whatever. The style of the boomer shooter, Quake, Doom, has somehow lasted the test of time, where games like Dread Templar have that same exact style, that same gameplay pacing, weapon feel, everything, and people still love it. Clearly, when id Software made Quake, they created something more than a first-person shooter. It's almost like this genre in itself, nowadays especially. Retro games are just taking off. So this is like, if you ask me, we're in a renaissance of boomer shooters. We're in a renaissance, a golden age of retro games in general. People love that nostalgia, even if they didn't grow up with it. I didn't really grow up with Doom and Quake. I think I played it when I was young, but I didn't really play it hardcore. The games of my childhood are Call of Duty 4, Call of Duty Black Ops, Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, Far Cry 3, games like that, Xbox 360 era. But for some reason, these games are still appealing, and it's just because of the iconic style, that low poly, pixelated textures. They look so good. Okay, so I would do research. I would do market research and say, okay, I like this genre. Then what I would do next, I would start playing games that are like the game I want to make. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm playing Dread Templar. I learned so much from that game. And then I would start prototyping, which is what I'm doing right now. Prototyping and learning from those games and adding those things. And I would use AI a lot. If I was starting right now, which I am, I would use AI for the coding, a lot of the art, use it for the coding, please. It's really powerful. I'm going to talk about how I use AI to write my scripts for Unity pretty soon because it's just a game changer for me. That was the biggest thing keeping me from making my games, was scripting was just so overwhelming, so hard. And now that I figured out how to consistently use the AI to build the game, it's like game changer. And now it's like suddenly this seems extremely possible, and I can totally do this now because I can just focus on the design, which is my strong suit. I'm not a coder, I'm not a scripter, but now I can focus on it. Next thing I would do is I would start a YouTube channel, and I would start making devlogs about my game or something, some way to make content that people will be interested in. I want to build an audience. I want to start building wish lists for the games I'm making. And everything is like on a 5-year timeline. Don't forget that. So it's like basically I'm going to spend maybe 2 years making my first game, and then going to build this YouTube channel for 5 years. And that channel, like the timeline for all these things is like 5 years, building a business, anything. A lot of the really successful game designers I've seen do things this way. I don't know if they have a YouTube channel, but it certainly doesn't hurt. And that's what I would do if I was starting over. And that is what I'm doing in a lot of ways, starting over. So to end the video, would I go to school for game design if I was 18 again? Absolutely not. I would do all the things I described, especially right now in the age of AI, in the age of the way the internet is right now, how information is so widely available. And this channel is a great example of that. I am basically talking about just all the things I've learned in this journey and what they taught me at the school. And it's just going to be great. I mean, this is what I want to do with my life. I just know I have to be a game designer because I know that I need to tell my stories. I have to find a way to tell my stories and express myself artistically. It's just, I've decided it's just the way I have to live my life, one way or another. And game design has been just chasing me. It has just been hounding me. I tried to quit a number of times, tried to do other things, but game design always comes back. And if that's how it is for you, then you know what you have to do. You got to make games, bro. And it's not easy. Sitting down and opening Unity is hard right now, honestly. I'm in a kind of a slump, but I'm going to keep going. It's just one day at a time. One day at a time, get this game done, move on to the next one. And I guess my final point of things I've learned about the indie dev process right now is it's the journey, not the destination. I enjoy just doing the little things to make the game, the little details, whatever. The end product is not my main focus. The end, like finishing this game. I want to finish the game, and I'm going to do that, in a reasonable time as soon as I can. But it's about my day-to-day life. In my life, I just need a project to focus on, a personal artistic outlet. It's just what I need to live my life and enjoy my life. I've noticed that about myself. I need something to focus on that's personal. And doing game design for some other company, for some other people, it's just not going to work for me. I will be miserable. I can't operate like that. It has to be my game, my ideas, my story. That's really what this is all about, is happiness, peace of mind. Making indie games just seems like the path for me to enjoy my life better, and I think it is going to be that way for a lot of people. We're in the indie game dev renaissance. Like I said before, this is the best time in human history to become an indie developer. There are so many resources available, and there's never been more gamers available that want to play your game. That's the thing, is some people say like they want to scare people and say, oh, like there's so many games getting uploaded to Steam. We just don't stand a chance. My game is going to get lost. Well, there's never been more players playing video games on Steam also. So basically, the way I see it is there's more than enough players and boomer shooter players out there to play all our games 10 times over. And we can all make a living making games if we hone our craft and we focus on it and put our passion into it, put our love into it. My main mission statement is to spread love through expressing my art. And that's kind of what it's all about, is love, really. All artistic expression is a act of love in a lot of ways, towards myself, because this is what I want to do, and for the players, because I care about my players and I want to take care of them. I want to make a game that takes care of my players. It feels good to play. It has a beautiful story and nice, happy ending. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope this video and commentary is useful to you in your life. If you are 17 or 18 or 16 years old and you play a lot of games and you want to be a game designer or make games or whatever, heed my warning. I was there and I thought going to school, some big expensive school, going away from home was going to be the answer. Turns out I'm too much of a free spirit. I have to work on my own. I have to be an indie dev. And I have to teach myself things, because the stuff they taught me in school was way too generalized. That's why this channel specifically says it is FPS game design. 3D first-person shooter games, specifically boomer shooters. It's catered to that specific genre of video game, not just video games as a whole. I like shooters. I like first-person narrative games, walking sims, first-person RPGs, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, whatever. Those are the games I like, and those are the games that inspire me. And that's why making games is so much fun, because of the inspiration. Well, anyways, thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Farewell.